Dead by Daylight is a game that can not only give me some of the best times on a multiplayer game, but it can also make me shit myself at the same time. I like to compare it to a Russian gymnast and her coach, who's her creepy uncle. The coach, you know, great guy. He can teach you a lot of things and give you some wonderful times, get you a lot of trophies. But he's the man who can also bend you over and fuck you in the ass without your consent. And that is what Dead by Daylight is like. Just like that Russian gymnast's creepy coach uncle. Here's an example of one of those many glorious good times you can have. You know, what better example could I give you? You know, bam, fixed a generator. Bam, got seen by the killer. Bam, racked them points up because I escaped him. And bang, I duped him harder than his mother duped him when he was born and left him in the hospital. And now here are some fine examples of how Dead by Daylight can easily turn around and fuck you in the ass. And I say many examples because, well, I'm a bit shit. Now, I'll admit, I'm not the best at duping the killer, alright? Not only because I'm rubbish at that type of thing, but also because my main man, David King, is a big motherfucker compared to the tiny females that my friends play as, who can easily hide in corners. He stands out like a boulder, like a fucking mountain in the sand. Alright? And you may say, oh, well, why don't you just play as a different character instead of David King? Alright, I've come too far with this man. I am not giving up on him. He is my boy, my sweet baby boy. And if I could, I'd wipe his own ass for him. I would. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. So, we know my opinion on the game in general. And I thought I'd get my friends involved and have their opinions. The first review is from the Range Chicken Nugget. Here we go. Woo! Amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Super good, super spooky, and makes you scream like a little girl if the killer is either Leatherface, the Wraith, the Huntress, the Hillbilly, the Hag, Ghostface. You know, all those spooky people. Super spooky, super poopy. Yes, I agree, because it has made me go big poopies many times. And the big boy had to say, it is good. Yes, it is. And he also gave it a Snapchat seal of approval. Most detailed one out of them all. During the time of collecting footage for this video here, a particular new killer came out called the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. And the first thing I picked up on was its head looked a lot like a penis. So from now on, he is called Penis Head for the simplicity of this video and saying its name. But for a good few days, all you'd run into was people playing as Penis Head, just running around, setting portals down next to hooks, so if you save a friend, he just crawl out the ground and just be like, hey there, nice save, but no. And it just it annoyed me quite a lot, alright? Okay, and that wasn't even the worst part about him. He could also do this weird thing where he would pounce at you and kill you straight off. Yeah, alright, mate, alright. Calm down. So, a few days passed, and we got back to, having a rotation of normal killers, with Penis Head coming up every so often. And, a thing with this game is that if you're a killer, you don't camp the hook. Alright, because that's just a dick move. That's just the biggest move you could pull to make yourself look like an asshole, essentially. And someone did it, and I got the best response possible. So, for starters, I just sent them a little message, just telling them, it's not cool, it's not cool to camp the hooks. It just sort of ruins the game for people. Just maybe to give him a bit of advice for the future, so he doesn't do it and ruin other people's games. But no. Oh dear. Why? Just why? Like, who lets their 8-year-old son, play this game, then takes the control off his son and be like, Aaron, Dad's got this, and just calls the person a div? Like, when I was here, I wasn't going around as a murderous, horrible rapist. I was playing Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. I was living a normal child life of video games until I was about 10, and I got Just Cause 2, and it just went downhill from there. So I did what any normal person would do, and pretty much just call the man a shit parent, if I'm being honest. That's the best way of putting it. And the best part is, he didn't even respond. But all jokes aside, for the short amount of time that I've had Dead by Daylight for, I can confidently say that I really fucking love it, and it's up there with some of the games I would consider the best to play with friends. Every time I've played the game, I've usually always had a good laugh along the way, or I've been on the edge of my seat in suspense, running away from the killer, and more than likely leading him to my friends because I have a slight curse for doing that. But Dead by Daylight is one of those games that, with all of its flaws, all the flaws that it has, you can't really put a pin in exactly what it is that makes it so great. Because there's just a lot of things there that cement to it being this great game that is, at times, maybe a little broken at its core. But you've got to admit, it's really fucking good. And there's no other way that can be put down on the paper than the way I've just said it. I knew of this game's existence for a little bit, but I didn't really want to get it because me and horror isn't really a good combination. And I wouldn't even say it's that spooky after you've experienced it for a couple of games. It's just more, well, entertaining than anything, just running away from the killer and taking the piss out of him while doing so. And I wouldn't have this unless, you know, all of a sudden my Xbox was just like, hey, you've got a Game Pass now. I was like, hey, thanks for the Game Pass. And, you know, I wouldn't have it. If I weren't to have the Game Pass, if the Game Pass was just gone now, and I've had the chance to play this game, either if it was in a sale or if it was full price, I would get it, because it is such a good game to just sit down with people and play, and I guarantee that if you get it, you'll have an amazing time. And I think on that glorious bombshell, I shall end the video here. So make sure that you do all the usual things people tell you to, like do a comment, do a subscribe, and share. And most importantly, fuck off politely.